video, I want to talk about gun violence and other tragic events. The CDC reports that children are more likely to be killed by a gun than a car accident, a truly startling statistic. Given that these things exist in our world and our society, we will best prepare our children by having developmentally appropriate conversations about these issues. You want to be honest, share just enough information, and promote safety and hope. Usually, a tragic event, like a school shooting, prompts us to have these conversations with our children. Children overhear us talking about it, or they see us reacting to the news in a myriad of ways. It's okay if your child sees you reacting to tragedy. You'll want to gauge your child's reaction. If they seem frightened or anxious, then it's best to give yourself some space so that you can regroup. But if your child seems more curious than anything, you can let them know that you're feeling sad, frustrated, scared, etc. It might sound like, "Yeah, my love, I am feeling sad. Do you want to know why?" And if they say yes, "Something very sad happened today. It makes my heart feel tired and sad." Sometimes that will be enough, especially for very young children. As your children age, they will want to understand what's happening in the world more clearly. The truth is this: they're going to find a way to get the information they're seeking. Generation Alpha is slated to be the most technically savvy generation in history. This is why I urge parents not to shy away from honest, developmentally appropriate conversations, even when it's hard subjects. If your child requests more information, or if you feel it's appropriate to inform them, then you want to frame any tragic event using this format. This is what happened. This is the impact it had. Here's how I will keep you safe. For example, if a child hears about a school shooting, you can discuss it with them like so. Someone came to a school with a gun. They shot people, and some people died. Their bodies stopped working. Pause and give your child some time to digest and process this information. They may have some clarifying questions. They may go straight to, "Is this going to happen to me?" Your job is to breathe, listen, and hold the feelings. Be open to your child's response and only offer spoonfuls of information before pausing and asking the child to share how they feel with this information. Once your child has had a chance to understand what happened and the impact, then you'll share your message of safety and hope. Us parents are the gatekeepers of hope for our children. I understand it can be hard to hold hope given the repetitive nature of some of the tragic events we face today. However, we must hold hope. You could say something like, "As your parent, it is my job to protect you and keep you safe. Here's what your teachers are doing to keep you safe at school." If your child goes to a school that participates in active shooter drills, be sure to reiterate to your child the importance that they always listen and follow the directions that their teacher gives them in the event of an emergency. Be mindful of your tone and energy in this conversation. We don't want to scare the children, but we also want them to understand that it's important. In general, children prefer to discuss these issues and get accurate information from us, who they trust. If you have a disabled or neurodivergent child, check with your child's school and IEP team about how they're preparing your child in the event of an active shooter crisis. Knowing this information will help you better support your child. I've had my fair share of talks with children about tragedy. I've discussed with children about things like domestic violence, foster care, serious abuse and neglect, parental incarceration, sibling death, and more. There isn't a perfect way to have these conversations. It's okay if you say, "I'm not sure how to answer that right now. Let me think about it and get back to you." You can buy yourself time if you're triggered, emotional, overwhelmed, or too emotionally taxed to go there in the moment. Lastly, While it can be difficult to find positive aspects in tragic events, it can be helpful to remind our children that there is still good in the world. Fred Rogers reminds us to look for and talk about the helpers. Help your children see the positive actions that people take in response to such crisis events. Talk to children about the first responders, volunteers, and others who come together to help during times of tragedy. Help them to look for the good in the world, even in the face of difficult situations.